The ancient world, a tapestry of empires, ambition, and intrigue. From Egypt to Rome, power was a game of strategy and conquest. One name echoes through time: Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt born into the Ptolemaic dynasty. Her bloodline pulsed with ambition and brilliance, but Egypt strained under internal strife and Roman pressure. Rome, with its legions, set its sights on the Nile. The Ptolemaic dynasty, once a beacon of stability and prosperity, had fallen into a spiral of decadence and decline. Internal power struggles, fueled by ambition and greed, weakened the kingdom from within, creating a breeding ground for chaos and vulnerability. Cleopatra's father, Ptolemy the Point, known derisively as oddities or the flute player, was a weak and ineffective ruler. More interested in pleasure than governance, he allowed corruption to fester and the treasury to dwindle. His reign marked a low point for the Ptolemaic dynasty, setting the stage for the turmoil that would engulf Cleopatra's own rise to power. The young princess, however, possessed a keen intellect and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. Fluent in multiple languages, including the Egyptian language of her ancestors, a rarity among her Greek-speaking dynasty, she immersed herself in the study of politics, philosophy, mathematics, and astronomy. She understood the precarious position of her kingdom, caught between internal decay and the looming threat of Roman expansion. This awareness fueled her ambition and steeled her resolve to restore Egypt to its former glory. She would not be a pawn in Rome's game, but a queen who shaped her own destiny. At 18, Cleopatra ascended the throne, co-ruling with her brother, Ptolemy XIII. Their partnership was rarely harmonious. Cleopatra's charisma and political acumen set her apart. She embraced Egyptian customs, presenting herself as Isis. Their alliance crumbled, leading to civil war. This conflict drew the attention of a rising power in the West. The echoes of Egypt's civil war reached beyond the Nile, catching the attention of Julius Caesar. Caesar saw in Egypt's turmoil an opportunity to expand Rome's influence and fill its coffers. Arriving in Alexandria, Caesar was drawn into the conflict between Cleopatra and her brother. He recognized Egypt's strategic importance and vast resources. Control of Egypt would bolster Rome's treasury and solidify Caesar's position. Cleopatra knew her kingdom's future hung in the balance. She needed a powerful ally, and Caesar was both a risk and an opportunity. Forbidden from approaching Caesar directly due to her brother's restrictions, Cleopatra orchestrated a daring plan. She had herself smuggled into Caesar's quarters, rolled up in a carpet, a gift for the Roman general. This audacious act, a blend of theatricality and calculated risk, instantly captivated Caesar. Cleopatra's arrival was not merely a display of cunning, it was a strategic masterstroke. She understood the power of presentation, the importance of image and perception in the game of power. By appearing before Caesar in such a dramatic fashion, she instantly set herself apart from the intrigue and power plays of the Egyptian court. She presented herself as an equal, a queen worthy of his attention and respect. Caesar, a man known for his own sharp intellect and appreciation for boldness, was immediately taken with the young queen. He saw in her not just a beautiful woman, but a shrewd political mind, a potential ally who could help him secure Rome's interests in Egypt. Their connection deepened, fueled by mutual respect and shared ambition. Cleopatra, fluent in Latin, conversed with Caesar as an intellectual equal, discussing philosophy, politics, and the future of their respective domains. The relationship between Cleopatra and Caesar, though born of political necessity, quickly blossomed into a passionate love affair. Their connection, however, was more than just a romantic dalliance. It was a strategic alliance that would have far-reaching consequences for both Egypt and Rome. Cleopatra, with her captivating beauty and sharp intellect, understood the power of seduction, not just in the physical sense, but also in the realm of politics. She knew how to use her charm and intelligence to win over allies, disarm enemies, and secure her position. Caesar, smitten with the Egyptian queen, found himself increasingly drawn into her world, a world of ancient traditions, opulent palaces, and the intoxicating allure of the Nile. He supported her claim to the throne, deploying his legions to secure her position against her brother's forces. The Roman presence in Egypt, however, was a double-edged sword. While it provided Cleopatra with the military might she needed to consolidate her power, it also fueled resentment among the Egyptian people, who viewed Caesar as a foreign invader meddling in their affairs. With Caesar's support, Cleopatra emerged victorious from the civil war. Her brother met an untimely end, leaving Cleopatra the sole ruler of Egypt. Her reign seemed secure, solidified by her alliance with Caesar. Determined to restore Egypt's glory, she rebuilt its economy and reasserted its power. Under her rule, Egypt experienced peace and prosperity, recalling the glory days of the pharaohs. Cleopatra's alliance with Caesar, while securing her throne and ushering in a period of prosperity for Egypt, came at a price. The presence of Roman legions on Egyptian soil, however necessary for maintaining stability, was a constant reminder of Rome's growing influence and the precarious balance of power. The Egyptian people, proud and fiercely independent, chafed under the weight of Roman presence. Whispers of discontent spread through the bustling marketplaces and along the Nile's fertile banks. Cleopatra, walking a tightrope between her love for Caesar and her duty to her people, found herself navigating treacherous political waters. She understood that her relationship with Caesar was not just a personal matter, but a matter of state, scrutinized and judged by both Egyptians and Romans alike. Every decision she made, every gesture, every word, was dissected for its political implications. To secure her position and ensure the continued prosperity of Egypt, she needed to demonstrate her strength and independence, to prove to her people that she was not merely a pawn in Caesar's game, but a true pharaoh, a worthy successor to the legacy of the Ptolemies. News of Caesar's affair with Cleopatra and the birth of their son, Caesarion, sent shockwaves through Roman society. The Roman elite, already wary of Caesar's growing power and ambition, seized upon the scandal, using it to fuel opposition to his rule. Rumors spread like wildfire through the streets and forums of Rome. Caesar, once hailed as a conquering hero, was now accused of being bewitched by the Egyptian sorceress. His relationship with Cleopatra was portrayed as a threat to Roman values, a sign of his growing arrogance and disregard for tradition. Political enemies, sensing an opportunity to weaken Caesar's grip on power, fanned the flames of discontent. They pointed to his lavish gifts to Cleopatra, his willingness to intervene in Egyptian affairs, and his growing disregard for Roman customs as evidence of his tyrannical ambitions. The Roman Republic, built on the principles of shared power and citizen participation, seemed increasingly under threat from Caesar's ambition and his entanglement with the Egyptian queen. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of Rome and test the limits of Cleopatra's power. The birth of Caesarion, Cleopatra's son, added another layer of complexity to the already tangled relationship between Egypt and Rome. Cleopatra, embracing her role as mother and queen, declared Caesarion to be the rightful heir to both the Egyptian and Roman thrones. This bold declaration, while celebrated in Egypt, was met with outrage in Rome. The idea of a foreign-born child, the son of an Egyptian queen, inheriting the mantle of Roman leadership was anathema to the Roman elite and a threat to the very foundations of Roman power. Caesar, for his part, seemed to acknowledge Caesarion as his son, but he stopped short of formally legitimizing him within the Roman system. The political realities of Rome, with its web of alliances and rivalries, made it impossible for him to openly embrace Caesarion as his heir without risking a backlash that could undermine his own position. Cleopatra, however, remained undeterred. She understood the power of symbolism, the importance of lineage and legacy in the game of power. By proclaiming Caesarion as the rightful heir to both Egypt and Rome, she was making a bold statement, challenging the very notion of Roman exceptionalism and asserting her own son's claim to greatness. As Caesar consolidated his power in Rome, declaring himself dictator for life, the whispers of discontent grew louder. On the Ides of March 15, 44 BC, Caesar was assassinated on the floor of the Roman Senate, stabbed to death by a group of senators led by Brutus and Cassius. The news of Caesar's assassination reached Cleopatra in Alexandria. The death of her lover and ally left a void in her life. Rome was plunged into turmoil. and Cleopatra had to act swiftly. She would navigate Roman politics alone, relying on her cunning and determination. In the aftermath of Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra found herself in a precarious position. Rome was in chaos, and the future of Egypt once again hung in the balance. She knew that she needed to forge new alliances, to find a powerful protector who could secure her throne and safeguard her son's legacy. Her gaze turned to Mark Antony, Caesar's loyal general and close friend, one of the most powerful men in the Roman world. Antony, grieving for his fallen leader and eager to avenge his death, had emerged as a key player in the power struggle that engulfed Rome. Cleopatra knew that Antony, like Caesar before him, was a man of ambition and desire. She also knew that he was susceptible to her charms, to her intelligence, and to her offer of Egyptian wealth and resources. Their meeting, a clash of cultures and ambitions, would shape the destiny of the Roman world and set the stage for one of history's most legendary love affairs. The air in Alexandria was thick with the scent of lotus and salt, a constant reminder of the sea that cradled Cleopatra's ambitions and fears. Mark Antony, Caesar's fiery lieutenant, had risen from the ashes of civil war, his power solidifying. Cleopatra, ever the strategist, saw in him not just a potential ally, but a force who could counterbalance the growing influence of Caesar's heir, the calculating Octavian. Antony, summoning her to Tarsus to answer for alleged support of his enemies, played into her hand. Cleopatra envisioned a spectacle, a display of power and allure that would solidify her position not as a supplicant, but as an equal. Word reached Antony of a magnificent vessel, its sails billowing like spun gold approaching Tarsus. Musicians played haunting melodies on flutes and lyres, their music echoing across the water, a siren's call that promised not just diplomacy, but a taste of the exotic, the intoxicating allure of Egypt. The moment their eyes met, the air crackled with unspoken desires and ambitions. Mark Antony, hardened by years of war and accustomed to command, found himself disarmed by Cleopatra's presence. Cleopatra, for her part, saw in Antony a man of action, a general who commanded legions and whose ambition rivaled her own. Their conversations at first danced around the formalities of treaties and alliances. Yet, as the days melted into weeks, a different kind of negotiation unfolded, fueled by shared ambition, mutual respect, and an undeniable attraction. The alliance between Cleopatra and Mark Antony, forged in the shadow of Caesar's legacy, quickly blossomed into a passionate love affair. Cleopatra, with Antony's support, solidified her control over Egypt, restoring its borders and reasserting its dominance in the region. Antony, in turn, found in Cleopatra not just a lover but a shrewd political strategist. Together they formed a formidable power couple, their combined armies and navies challenging the authority of Octavian, Caesar's heir. Cleopatra, acutely aware of the importance of public image, used her relationship with Antony to enhance her own power and prestige. The court of Cleopatra and Mark Antony in Alexandria became legendary for its opulence and extravagance. Antony, enthralled by Cleopatra's world, seemed to forget his responsibilities in Rome, content to indulge in the pleasures of Egypt. Rumors of their lavish lifestyle, their disregard for Roman customs, and their perceived decadence reached Rome, further fueling the flames of discontent among Antony's political rivals. Octavian, Caesar's heir, a master of propaganda, seized upon these stories, painting Antony as a weak-willed puppet, bewitched by the Egyptian queen. The Roman Senate, once respectful of Antony's military prowess, now viewed him with suspicion and disapproval. The cracks in the foundation of Cleopatra and Antony's alliance deepened as political pressures mounted. Antony, torn between his love for Cleopatra and his ambition for Roman power, found himself increasingly isolated. Octavian launched a propaganda campaign designed to discredit Antony and portray Cleopatra as a dangerous seductress. He pointed to Antony's decision to bestow upon Cleopatra and her children titles and territories that rightfully belonged to Rome. The stage was set for a final confrontation, a clash of titans that would determine the fate of empires and the legacy of Cleopatra. The idyllic life Cleopatra and Antony had built in Alexandria was about to be shattered. The whispers of discontent brewing in Rome had escalated into a roar, fueled by Octavian's relentless propaganda. The Roman Senate had become a stage for accusations and threats, the chasm between Antony and Octavian widening. News arrived in Egypt of legions gathering, their armor glinting under the Mediterranean sun. Octavian had declared war, branding Antony a traitor, a puppet dancing to the tune of a foreign queen. Cleopatra knew this was not just a war for territory or power, it was a battle for survival. As Antony rallied his own forces, a mix of seasoned Roman legionaries and Cleopatra's loyal Egyptian troops, a sense of unease settled over Alexandria. The city, accustomed to the rhythms of trade and celebration, now echoed with the clang of swords being sharpened, the rhythmic thud of warships being readied for battle. The fate of empires, of lovers, of ancient legacies converged on the turquoise waters off the coast of Greece. The Battle of Actium pitted Antony's formidable fleet, bolstered by Egyptian warships, against Octavian's more disciplined forces. Antony, aboard his flagship, fought with the ferocity of a man defending not just his empire, but his heart. Yet as the battle raged, a sense of dread settled over the Egyptian fleet. Octavian's admiral, Agrippa, had anticipated their every move, using fire ships to disrupt their formations. Cleopatra, aboard her magnificent royal galley, watched the carnage unfold with a growing sense of horror. The tide of battle turned against them, the outcome inevitable. In a decision that would haunt history, Cleopatra ordered her fleet to break through the Roman lines and make a desperate dash for Egypt. News of the defeat at Actium reached Alexandria like a desert wind, stripping away the last vestiges of hope. Antony, his pride wounded, retreated into himself, the shadow of defeat clinging to him like a shroud. Cleopatra, ever resourceful, sought to rally her people to fortify their defenses, but the spirit of resistance had been broken. Octavian, savoring his victory, advanced on Alexandria with the relentless precision of a serpent closing in on its prey. He offered Antony a deal, a chance to save himself by surrendering Cleopatra, but Antony refused. Cleopatra, desperate to secure her children's future, attempted to negotiate with Octavian, offering him a portion of her wealth. But Octavian, cold and calculating, would accept nothing less than unconditional surrender. The walls of Alexandria, once thought impenetrable, crumbled under the relentless assault of Roman siege engines. In the final act of their tragic love story, Cleopatra and Antony found themselves trapped in Alexandria. Octavian, having crushed their armies and shattered their empire, closed in, eager for the final kill. Antony, hearing false news of Cleopatra's death, driven to despair, took his own life, falling on his sword in a final act of defiance and love. Cleopatra, grief-stricken but resolute, refused to give Octavian the satisfaction of capturing her alive. Legend has it that she chose a death befitting a pharaoh, allowing an asp, a venomous serpent, to deliver a fatal bite, its venom offering a swift and painless end. Cleopatra's death marked the end of an era, the final chapter in the 1,000-year reign of the pharaohs. Egypt, once a beacon of civilization, was absorbed into the Roman Empire, its treasures shipped back to Rome. Yet, even in defeat, Cleopatra's legend endured, her story passed down through generations, a testament to the power of ambition, the allure of love, and the enduring strength of a woman who dared to challenge the might of Rome. History, often written by the victors, has painted Cleopatra in various shades: a cunning seductress, a ruthless manipulator, a pawn in the game of Roman power. Yet, beneath the layers of myth and propaganda, a different Cleopatra emerges. A brilliant strategist, a skilled diplomat, a ruler who fought tirelessly for her kingdom and her people. Cleopatra's story, a tapestry woven from ambition, love, and tragedy, continues to fascinate us centuries later. She was the last pharaoh of Egypt, a ruler who defied expectations and challenged the might of Rome at the height of its power. Though her kingdom ultimately fell, her legacy as a woman of intelligence, courage, and unwavering determination continues to resonate. Cleopatra's story serves as a reminder that history is rarely a simple narrative of victors and vanquished. She remains an icon, a symbol of female power and resilience, a queen who dared to challenge the status quo and left an indelible mark on the world stage. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Untold Past, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content.